Welcome to our channel. What's up, everyone? Imagine building a 150-meter stone building with no machines, no electricity, and definitely no YouTube tutorials. Welcome to the ancient pyramid age, humanity's biggest flex. Today, we're time traveling back to a period when humans looked at a mountain of stone and said, yeah, we can build something with that, something so strong it'll last for thousands of years. And guess what? They actually did it. The Pyramid Age we're talking about mainly refers to ancient Egypt, specifically a period between 2700 and 2200 BCE. This was the era of the early dynastic period and the Old Kingdom, a time of incredible innovation and ambition. But why go through all that trouble? These pyramids weren't just giant decorations sitting in the desert. They served some seriously important purposes. First and foremost, they were tombs for the kings, the pharaohs. But they were also powerful religious symbols, a massive display of the pharaoh's power, and a meticulously planned preparation for the afterlife. Think of it like this: a pyramid was a perfect combination of status, religion, and mind-blowing engineering, all wrapped up in one giant triangular package. To understand the pyramids, you have to understand the role of the pharaohs. They weren't just kings. They were seen as gods on earth and were the supreme military leaders. There was a powerful belief that if the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife was safe and successful, the entire country would remain blessed with prosperity, good harvests, and stability. So building a pyramid for the pharaoh wasn't just a side project. It was a national mission, a collective effort to secure the future of Egypt itself. Now let's talk about where it all began. The very first pyramid didn't have those smooth, sleek sides you might be picturing. It was the Step Pyramid of Djoser, a revolutionary structure built by the legendary architect and physician Imhotep, basically an ancient genius. This was the first large-scale stone structure in history, and it looked like a giant staircase reaching for the heavens, and that was the whole point. The steps were seen as a stairway for the pharaoh's soul to ascend and join the gods who lived among the stars. From those beginnings, we move to the absolute legends, the Great Pyramids of Giza. This is where the pyramid building game reached its peak. The Giza Plateau is home to three massive pyramids built for the pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. The Great Pyramid, built for Khufu around 2560 BCE, is the most famous. It was constructed with over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as an elephant. And here's the crazy part: it's still standing strong after 4,500 years. Meanwhile, some modern buildings start falling apart in 50 years, just saying. So the big question is, how did they pull it off? Was it aliens? Magic? The answer is much more impressive. It was pure human intelligence, incredible organization, and teamwork. The ancient Egyptians were masters of simple but effective technology. They used a system of ramps and levers to move and lift the massive stones. They had copper tools like chisels and saws to cut the blocks with astonishing precision, and they were brilliant mathematicians, using geometry to get the angles just right. The workforce that built these wonders was made up of skilled laborers, and let's bust a common myth right now: they were not slaves. These were paid workers who were fed, housed, and organized into efficient teams. It turns out ancient HR was pretty effective. They worked on the pyramids during the annual flooding of the Nile, when farming wasn't possible, making it a productive use of the nation's manpower. At the heart of all this was a profound belief in the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that life continued after death, but it required careful preparation. This is why they developed the complex process of mummification to preserve the body for the soul to return to. Tombs were filled with everything a person would need in the next life: food, furniture, jewelry, and even spells from the Book of the Dead to help navigate the underworld. The pyramid acted as a fortress, protecting the pharaoh's body, his soul, and his power for eternity. Failing your afterlife prep was not an option. Even the shape of the pyramid was deeply symbolic. It wasn't just a random geometric form. The triangular shape is thought to represent the rays of the sun shining down to earth, creating a pathway for the pharaoh to the sun god Ra. It also symbolized the primordial mound, the first land that rose from the waters of chaos at the creation of the world. Every single detail had meaning. There was no just because in ancient Egyptian architecture. Life during the Pyramid Age was highly organized. At the top was the pharaoh, followed by priests, scribes, and government officials. The majority of the population were workers and farmers. Daily life was tied to the rhythms of the Nile River. They farmed the fertile lands along its banks, and when the annual flood made farming impossible, many would join the massive construction projects. It was a society built on a strong sense of community and teamwork, where everyone had a role to play in the nation's grand vision. The achievements of the Pyramid Age go far beyond just building big structures. This era saw incredible advancements in science and technology. They developed sophisticated geometry and mathematics to design and build the pyramids. Their understanding of astronomy was so advanced that they could align the pyramids almost perfectly, with the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west, and with specific stars. They also created one of the world's first solar calendars and had impressive medical knowledge. The level of precision they achieved without modern tools is simply insane. So if they were so good at it, why did they eventually stop building massive pyramids? There were a few reasons. First, the cost was enormous, both in terms of resources and manpower. Over time, political instability and a shift in power away from the central pharaoh made these national projects harder to organize. Religious beliefs also evolved, and later pharaohs chose to be buried in more hidden tombs, like those in the famous Valley of the Kings. These tombs were still legendary and beautifully decorated, just less flashy on the outside. The legacy of the Pyramid Age is all around us. It gave us monumental architecture that has inspired builders. For centuries, it pushed the boundaries of engineering and project management. It created a model for organized labor systems, and its rich religious traditions and symbolism have fascinated the world ever since. Ancient Egypt is still making a huge impact on modern culture, from movies and books to architecture and tourism. To sum it all up, the ancient Pyramid Age was an incredible peak of human creativity and determination. It was a unique mix of deep religious belief, brilliant science, and immense power. More than anything, it's proof that when people work together with a shared purpose, they can achieve things that seem impossible. The pyramids didn't build themselves, people did, and that's a legacy worth remembering. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures into history. See you next time.